Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here, held captive by Sean D once again for some crazy nonsense. So this week Sean has brewed up some Jeskai pirates for us to enjoy and meme a little bit. Alright, so I know what you're asking. Why Jeskai pirates? Hold on, let me check my notes. Got something for this here. It says here that we can give pirates double strike, and that's dope. So that's why pirates. So Ragavan is a pretty okay legacy card. I think we'll all probably agree on that front, or maybe good legacy card is a better way to put that. A lot of people don't think the monkey is okay. And we are going to play a handful of other pirates in this shell, including shapeshifters, which are pirates, in hopes of doing some pretty cute things with Buccaneer's Bravado. So this is a modal spell. Either target creature gets +1/+1 in first strike until end of turn, or target pirate gets +1/+1 and gains double strike until end of turn. So the goal here is to get multiple Curious Obsession triggers and draw multiple cards, or get multiple Ragavan activations in a single turn as well. And then we have Unsettled Mariners as something that we can use to pseudo protect our creatures. Hullbreacher is also a more expensive but rather potent pirate. Another reason to want a double strike on a pirate is that if you throw a piece of equipment on it, or a Curious Obsession, which also gives you some additional power, you get a little bit of extra bang for your buck that way. So you can kind of see there's a Delver-ish sort of mana base here, although we're pretty darn heavy on the fetch lands, and we're not playing the full set of Wastelands. And then a lot of the rest of this is Delver adjacent cards. The sideboard is a little weird. It of course has Fiery Colonnade, which deals 2 damage to each non-pirate creature. So, that's going to save our stuff. And we do concede a little bit of the pirate sub-theme with the meddling mages in the sideboard. Now, that is a human wizard, but we got to do something to beat combo. Something that I thought was interesting about deck construction here is that this deck is running a Shattering Blow to exile target artifact, which notably is something that can get rid of Kaldra, because damn, that thing is sticky. So obviously today we're here to have some fun and meme up a little bit. This is probably not going to be as competitive as, say, a blue-red Delver or blue-red X Delver deck right now. But we'll kind of see how this fares and hopefully have some fun along the way. We've got a pretty varied sideboard, so we should have some solid options, at least as far as that front goes. Anyway, I hope you'll enjoy. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content 5 days a week. And if you're a regular, throw me a like. That's the easiest way to support my content for free. If you want to meme on people later, or you want to get one of your videos or one of your deck lists on the channel, that information is available in the video description, and the deck list is there via Top Decked. All right, let's fight. You ever go to hit the record button and instead you hit the mulligan button? Yeah, me either. That definitely didn't just happen, in case anyone was wondering, why I'm going to start with 6 cards. To be fair, it was a hand that I was thinking about mulliganing anyway, but I don't like to miss those sorts of decisions on camera. I'm going to be keeping this hand. I think I'm going to get rid of the Direfleet Daredevil. This is kind of an endgame card. So let's ship that back. I also missed the opportunity to go and make walk the plank jokes in the deck tech, so we're gonna have to sprinkle that sort of stuff in throughout the rest of the league. Once Upon a Time is often indicative of some sort of Dark Depths deck, although this could also be Elves or Madness. Yep, Madness is the answer. I'm no stranger to these sorts of matchups. I am going to be at a huge disadvantage here. Ragavan is shitty against just a bunch of lizards. Okay, so I know my opponent has a Vengevine. Do I want to counter this? I don't super want to counter this. I might need to. I think since my opponent has 4 cards remaining in hand, I go ahead and do just counter this. And then my plan is going to be play Ragavan, put a Curious Obsession on it, and hope that that gives me enough fuel to survive the first wave of idiots whenever they actually come around. All right. This will be a volcanic island. I will cast the monkey. Yeah, so my opponent's deck is full of X1s that can just block Ragavan, so the Curious Obsession is going to be the thing that can get me through them just being played out as X1s. My opponent can still pump them, and then that's annoying, because at the end of your end step, if you didn't attack with a creature this turn, I have to sacrifice this. Ah, shit, there's the LED. That's bad. Oh, maybe it's not bad. My opponent needs to hit double creature here. Yeah, that was an absolutely crazy risk. I do not like that decision. So, like, a Ragavan is not threatening for Madness. It is a slow clock, and it is something that will be brick walled by just about any creature. That was greed. All right, I'll play Surgical for Vengevines. I will play Gutshot for Lizards. I mean, probably. What don't I want? I feel like I'm going to be a little slow a lot of times. I might need to keep this double strike thing as just a combat trick to get through like hollow ones and stuff. Or I could like board Shattering Blow. Probably don't get to board out any creatures. Creatures don't really have evasion. It doesn't like fly or anything randomly, right? Oh, it does fly. Okay, I have a little bit of evasion. Board down one of those for sure. And then I'm not really sure. Curious Obsession is one of the things that the deck is built around, but I think I'm going to get stalled out some portion of the time. So maybe on the draw I trim those. And I don't know. Maybe I need the, like, this on a flyer or something. I don't know. I'm not confident in how I am boarding. Maybe I board out Unsettled Mariners and go just... This is so light on creatures. I'm not super comfortable with what's going on here. Holy shit. Keep. Things can happen. I am on the draw. But if I get to play my first land, I'm in good shape. Yes, that's fine. Okay. Hollow one is a little spooky. Oh, is it just gonna... Oh, yeah. That's probably indicative of like a turn 2 Faithless Looting baseline. If I were to guess. Grab a Volcanic Island again. Pass this. And as expected, it resolves. What do you have for me? What am I dazing? I think I just dazed this because I know about the hollow one. Finishing that thought, if I were to not counter the Faithless Looting, things could get a little weird. Okay. That's fine. Alright. You can kill my Ragavan. Lol. I'll get white with my next land. I probably should have just played out the Volk from my hand, but I didn't think about it too much. I don't feel like my opponent's hand... I don't feel like my opponent's hand was particularly good. They agree. Alright, round 2. I have creature, but this hand doesn't really do anything, and like even if I get to 2 mana, I'm not excited about this. Let's find a plan. Ragavan is a plan. Do I want land 3 or Unsettled Mariner? I probably want the second critter. Let's throw back a fetch land. And let's do our pirate-themed Delver impression again. Also, this Demi-Lich avatar is pretty dope. I respect that. Oh no, we might be playing a mirror. Our opponent has more good cards than we do. Oh no, not good cards. Yeah, it is looking like that's indeed what's happening. And I probably don't get to play around day... Well... Turn's hard. I can play the Unsettled Mariner to, like, protect the Ragavan. And, like, jam that into Daze. Or I can play a Ragavan around Daze. The intention of, like, going double Curious Obsession next turn if things go well. Opponents 2 for 1 themselves already by casting Force of Will. I think I want this taxation effect in play. My opponent has already pitched 1 daze. There's a world where I'm supposed to fetch Plateau there, so if I get Wastelanded, I'll have red no matter what. But I think my opponent would Wasteland me off of white if I show off white. Because white represents like the prismatic endings and such of the world. Davis Delver flips. No. Okay. Alright. Not a pirate. Shame. Alright, so I go to 18. And I can't just like play out these Curious Obsessions, which kind of sucks. I can dash the Ragavan, but I don't really want to trade it for Dragon Rage Channeler. I'm going to Telegraph this Ragavan, but I think I want to play it out and then double Curious Obsession it next turn. Again, my opponent just has higher card quality than I do. So the scary thing is that if my opponent... Yeah, they got rid of a force. The scary thing here is if my opponent either like can attack with both of these as 3/3s this turn or answers my Ragavan. Either one of those things probably just kills me. Effectively. Not immediately, but I don't think I come back from one of those. Alright, so this fetch will clear the Brainstorm, and we'll see if my Ragavan is dead. Magic 8 Ball says, seems likely. Now, notably, at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't attack with a creature this turn, you have to sacrifice Curious Obsession. So that's why I couldn't just like play this out to better play around things like Fork Bolt and Gut Shot. 3 cards in graveyard, 3 card types in graveyard. I'm taking 4. I probably don't come back from this. Okay, that helps a lot. Now I can try to shuffle away these dead Curious Obsessions. Cool. Pass the turn. This is fine. This is fine. .gif. Concede. Well, okay. How big is this? Yeah, concede. Okay. Yep. Bonus cards are better than my cards. Let's play a sweeper and a couple more removal spells. All board out. Kind of feel like I need the Force of Wills to protect my BS. I don't think I get to just purely play the 1-for-1 game. Board out the Hull Breacher because it's slow. Board out these because they're mana intensive. My opponent just has like so much better 1-drops than I do. This is not a real contest. Alright, so I get to lead on a Ragavan. And if my opponent doesn't have a removal spell, like maybe I can like Wasteland them, Ragavan attack in, and then like try to leverage that early advantage. But if my opponent just has a 1-mana removal spell, I'm in pretty bad shape, I think. Ooh. Alright. I think I'm just about always going to Wasteland my opponent. And I want to have the possibility of doing this in prior to my second main phase. Okay. That's fine. Do I want to Brainstorm and look for Daze or Force? It's mostly just Daze. Because Brainstorm would have to find Force plus blue card. I think I'm good with doing that. Okay, there is a Daze. Doesn't matter too much what I put on top of my deck here. Let's counter this Lightning Bolt. Okay. I wish I had red mana available. But I wasn't exactly anticipating this scenario. I thought if my opponent had the Lightning Bolt, they would have done it in the upkeep before I got to look at another card. But I was wrong. I'll blow up this land, and I'll kind of reset the board. But I'm not thrilled with my position. So, like, I have this Direfleet Daredevil that's basically a 3-drop. Never mind, I'm thrilled with my position. My opponent doesn't have any lands. Yeah, this is fine then. And next turn, I will just play Direfleet Daredevil as a shitty 2/1 first striker in all likelihood. Do I want to stop the cantrip? My opponent just grabbed a basic, so they are not on red right now. I think I'll stop that. Specifically because I have two different answers to something like a Murktide Regent that would slip in play, I think that's okay. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't do that. This is not using Direfleet Daredevil in the intended way. This is supposed to be a Snapcaster Mage sort of card. But we will just use it as a very, very, very weak Graveyard Hate card. Alright. So if my 2/1 lives, I can put a Curious Obsession on it. Alright. We'll try it. Alright, 3/2 First Striker. To the moon! Let's take a card. We need cards. I don't have a lot of good things going on right now. Like, I have the better board, unquestionably. Oh, that's nice. I'm going to play that out because I'm at least somewhat likely to draw another land later, and this lets me play a Swords to Plowshares on my opponent's turn around a daze. Okay, cool. This does let them know that they have to fetch a basic mountain if they want to keep their stuff alive. Yeah. Note to new players, this is why you don't play enchantments in Legacy. I don't even think I play this 1/1. I think Force of Will is just more valuable. Something, something, something. Compare this to Dragon Rage Channeler and Delver. Okay. We're gonna hang out for a while, I guess. We're gonna hang out for a long while, apparently. And then I'm gonna get Wastelanded off white at some point and lose access to 3 of the spells in my hand, and I'm gonna cry. Yeah, your Ragavan resolves. And all Swords to Plowshare it once we're in combat. Please work. Don't want to use a Force of Will here. Okay, great. Yeah, I'll play that. I probably will not play another land. I don't know that I want to hardcast a Force of Will. Into a daze, specifically. Okay. I'm going to let that resolve in Swords to Plowshare it. And I'll Force of Will that if I have to. Otherwise, I'd like to have the Force of Will in my hand in case my opponent plays a weirdo threat like True Name Nemesis that is otherwise difficult to remove. Alright, you're up to 21. Alright, I don't think I want to play this land. I think that's potential brainstorm fodder. Again, I don't think this is a reasonable card to play in Legacy without, like, something else in my hand to work with it. Especially since I know that my opponent is playing Fork Bolts. Okay, Wasteland is fine. My Plateau gets Wastelanded. I play out Arid Mesa so that I have access to white. Okay. This game is just glacial in terms of its pace. Because I can't really play my threats. Well, I guess I can play my threats, but it's just not worth it to. Okay, now it is. I'll play that. I can go for a Curious Obsession next turn and then get 2 for 1. Cry. I continue to hold this land. Yep, that's not worth Force of Willing. If I Force a Will, I pitch the Curious Obsession that would have made that creature reasonable. Alright. Oh, second main? Nope. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to keep holding this land. Brainstorm away. I'm not going to blast that. Especially when there's not an immediate shuffle here. Gotta be able to answer things like Murktide Regent. Okay. Alright. There is a card that does stuff. There's a Tundra. We don't want to play this out this turn. There's things like playing a Pyroblast around a Spell Pierce that I want to be thinking about in this turn cycle. Yep, that's not worth fighting over. Okay. I mean, yeah. I'll do the mana tradesies. Okay. Do it again. Okay. I have a creature in play. Maybe next turn we can throw never mind. My opponent has to pay for that. I don't think this is worth fighting over. Does it cost me the Curious Obsession? Okay. Okay. So in case you're not familiar with this one, it gives +1/+1 and lifelink, and then whenever the creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Alright. So this is probably a force situation. I can't prismatic ending this. I can't pyroblast it. Let's force. I'll pyroblast a counterspell. Yep. Goodbye. Alright, cool. It worked. But now I have like 2 do-nothing cards versus a bunch of things in their deck. Note. This is why you don't play enchantments in Legacy most of the time unless you like really have a reason to be. Because drawing these auras without anything to put on them feels bad, and you often set yourself up for these 2-for-1 situations. It's very likely that my opponent has a Daze. I don't think I want to hard cast a Force of Will here. I'd rather pitch cast and play it safe. I also just really want to draw a Brainstorm and fix this hand. Sure. Now I probably have to play the next fetch land again, which is a little unfortunate. Actually, I'm not on too many more fetchable sources. Do I have like a basic land or something? Nope. I have 6 fetchable cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 1 more Volcanic Island in there. Okay. So this is Volcanic Island. This is a dead card. I maybe even shouldn't play this out because of more Wastelands. I want to have my mana to play around soft permission cards. And a Super Punished. I now do not have access to white mana anymore. But my opponent does not necessarily know that. Okay, cool. I have 2 dead cards in hand, really closer to 1 dead card because Force of Will can use Staggering Insight. I essentially have like 1 maybe removal spell and 1 counter spell available. Okay. That's another turn of nothing. Okay. 7 cards in hand. I don't need to discard yet. Your Brainstorm is quite good, I'm sure, but I don't think I get to counter it. I'm so unlikely to win the game at this point. I have 3 Ragavans, 1 Direfleet Daredevil remaining as relevant cards in my deck. How bad is my spot? Is my spot, for example, say, gut shot my opponent, daze it, return this land to my hand levels of bad? Might be. I don't think I get to do that. My opponent still has plenty of threats that I am going to have to answer in those remaining 23 cards of their library. Alright. Let's fetch. Confirm. Yep, I am correct about the land situation. I'm going to play this land even though it doesn't fetch anything. I have Forked Bolts and probably not Chain Lightning. I have Forked Bolts to think about for why I should just dash this every turn. But if I dash this every turn, it actually just gets dazed and I lose it. Or it costs me like my own spells back. I think I am just going to cast this and commit to casting a Force of Will on a Forked Bolt and hope it works. This game absolutely favors my opponent. I have to force that. Like they have better threats and more threats left remaining in their deck because I do not have functional mana right now. So they're just gonna like floop down a Murktide Region at some point, and it will beat me because I can't remove it. Yep, that doesn't get dazed. Rip another Ragavan. Nope, that's a dead card. Sure, go ahead. I should really just concede this one. We're really fucking dead. Okay. Daze doesn't beat that. I have no outs to that in my deck. I can now safely concede. That's disappointing. Okay. I guess I have a 1-drop and a Curious Obsession, so I guess this hand is a keep. Although, if I'm being honest, I don't really think this is powerful enough to probably win the game. But it's what the deck is trying to do, so we'll give it a go. I also don't have something like a basic land here to make myself immune to an initial wasteland, if that's something that matters. Seems like no. Are we going to be just like playing against Pox? I probably need to daze this to protect my Curious Obsession. That's a sentence that I am uttering right now. Or playing against something Pox or Pox adjacent. I really need to start drawing cards. Here's my initial 2 damage and a card draw. Great. Alright. So we got Force of Will for like an incoming smallpox. That's the good news. Okay. Control at least 2 or more other lands that enters tapped. Till end of turn becomes a Beholder. Thick. I guess I need to counter this. I think I'm supposed to leave the other Force of Will in my hand, so that if I either draw a blue card next turn or draw a blue card off Curious Obsession, I get another attempt at protecting it. Okay, there's another blue card. Using Buccaneer's Bravado to just get in a little more damage. Probably. Alright, let's do the thing the deck was designed to do. We'll see if it's good. Bash in there, go to blocks, target pirate, gets double strike. So that was worth a cantripping lightning bolt in terms of resources. That's okay, but that doesn't feel like the tribal card for a that doesn't feel good enough to be the payoff card for a tribal deck, though. All right. I need to play another Curious Obsession so that I can actually attack into the Mishra's Factory this turn. I think I'll go ahead and do this. And I'll crash in. So I'll get my 2 card draws. Those are okay. That means that I can go ahead and play an Unsettled Mariner as a protection card. Alright. Not bad. Okay, nice. No, like, end of turn removal spell into untap new removal spell. Okay. That's just, like, good enough to beat my big idiot, right? So they animate, block, tap, and then tap, and they have a 4/4 all of a sudden, and I can't attack in. Unless I play Curious Obsession. Oh, JK. That's just literally the best possible draw I could have. Yeah. I'll go ahead and put this here. I think I'll just keep the Unsettled Mariner around rather than attack in with it. Yeah, maybe I do attack in with it. I've got a counterspell anyway. Send them. Okay, this is the Summoning Sick one. So this can only be a 3/3. I'm good with this. I need to wasteland one of these 2. When do I do this? I guess in response to this one tapping, or in response to both of them being declared blockers here. Yeah, that's fine. Oh. Okay. That's fine. Then I'll go to damage and kill one of these. Then I'll wasteland the other. Okay, so this is targeting itself. That means that I should just kill that one then. And then I trade with the other. Yeah, I got a double sinkhole there. That's disgusting. Play Ragavan as insurance versus an edict effect. And with 2 counterspells available and my opponent on 2 mana, I think that should do it. Just let that resolve. Probably just let that resolve. Okay. Alright, so let's do that same thing again where we just, like, play Delver and our stuff doesn't die. I'm not sure about sideboarding. Normally against Pox, I want things that help me grind, but there's nothing that helps me grind in this entire sideboard. So, like, I can board in more bodies. I could board in Meddling Mage, for example, and just name some removal spells or something. Like, just to have a higher density of creatures so that my opponent's removal doesn't just end me immediately. Because there's only 14 creatures in this deck. I probably need to do something like that versus Pox. Like, maybe go down on some Swords to Plowshares, and maybe go down on Days on the draw. But I don't feel like my sideboard is good for this matchup. I mean, more generally, the sideboard doesn't feel like it has a cohesive plan. It just feels like a bunch of cards. This is a hand that has the cards that I want a hand to have. It only has 1 land, which is a problem. But I probably have to keep this. I didn't want you to cast that. I think I need to Force of Will that. Like, I need this Ragavan for this hand to do anything. And it feels real bad to have to do that. But like on the one lander that I am on, I think if I lose the Ragavan, and I don't have the chance to get cards with Curious Obsession, I just have no chance at winning. Okay. I wanted them to play a 2-drop there so I could daze it. Alright, that's probably GG. I probably lose now. Like, Pox takes a long time to finish. Oh, never mind. I was about to say, especially if I just miss this next land drop, I'm very unlikely to be able to win the game. Okay, play a 3-drop. Play like a lily. Oh my god, thank you. Thank you. I needed that. Like, if I just got smallpoxed there, I was donezo. Alright, Curious Obsession this. Crash in for 3. Make some mana, which is super important. Always yes, always yield. Always yield. Alright, there is a swamp. Just confirming this is cast, right? Yep, that is cast. So that's my turn. I am shields down, so any removal spell gets to 2 for 1 me here. Yep. Wasteland would be a hot draw now. Okay, that's horrifying. Yeah, because that kills my Ragavan and, like, has something left over afterwards. Okay. Well, I will play a critter. I think the Unsettled Mariner to maybe slightly tax my opponent's mana and make their life more awkward is okay. Okay, that's kind of to be expected. I probably have to discard the Jitte here. Like, I don't have anywhere near the 4 mana that I need to play and equip this right now. Oh, jeez. Opponent's hand is probably pretty good if they're willing to discard a second Planeswalker here. Okay, Legend Ruling in Urborg. Alright, that's a disaster. So I probably have to discard... I think the way I win is, like, getting, like, land, then Ragavan, then putting Curious Obsession on it. But, like, we're done this game. I am losing this one to the Urza Saga. Alright, well, there's the start of it. Alternatively, I can just source the Plowshare as one of the constructs and try to buy myself a little bit of time. Let's do that. And I'll just junk that while it's a 1/1. So I assume my opponent will have something of the caliber of Retrofit or Foundry that they'll wish up here. And I don't think I get to beat that. They'll get attacked for, like, 2, then 4, and so forth. Yeah, okay, a Curse Scroll instead. That's fine. I think I can concede this one pretty safely here. Alright, on the play, I want these Dazes back. Maybe we'll trim the Buccaneers' Bravados. Don't really have additional things in the sideboard that deal with an Urza Saga. This exiles artifacts but can't get enchantments, which is kind of a huge deal here. This has no threats. The way I win this matchup is playing a Ragavan on turn 1. Just very clearly. I play land turn 1. Like, if I play Tundra turn 1, Brainstorm turn 2, I can potentially get a couple more looks at a Ragavan. I don't think I want to be on the, like, Wasteland you into Oblivion plan, because, like, A, my opponent has a bunch of basic swamps, and B, they probably have more lands in their deck than I do by a pretty good margin. I don't think this hand is good enough. I think if we were a real Delver deck and we had, 12 1-drops of good power level that we could hit, I think this hand is fine. But I think if I'm basically fishing for just Ragavan and I don't hit that, I probably lose. I think I just have to throw this back. Yeah, this is the plan. This is what I want. I guess I'll throw back the Prismatic Ending. Okay. Bulk, Ragavan, pass. Okay. I do like it when you pass the turn. If Ragavan gets to connect. Plenty of Fatal Push-esque cards. So the question here is, does my opponent have a Sudden Edict? I can stop anything else other than Sudden Edict, but I can't stop Sudden Edict. I think I'd let them have the Sudden Edict if they have it. Because otherwise it's pretty good for me to just counter this thing. Yep. Okay. All right. So if I had countered the Dark Ritual, like, I'd 2-for-1 myself, and they still have the removal spell. So specifically, if they have Sudden Edict, like, I can play the Unsettled Mariner, and then, like, I'm insulated against that. But, you know, if it was just, like, another 2-mana removal spell of some kind, or a 3-mana removal spell, um, nope, I can't let that resolve, I don't think. Curious Obsession? That's not Curious Obsession, but it is pretty good. Bash on in there. But, like, I'm on empty here. Oh, this is tricky. I could hold this for a couple of turns and try to get value out of it, but my opponent is playing a discard-based deck, and I'm going to have things like Hymns and Thoughtseizes to worry about. I think I'm going to fire this off now. This is like the singular card I was hoping to hit. Alright, so I will put back land. I will wasteland you. Okay, good. Opponent didn't float mana. That means that this is safe. And now, always yes, always yield, yes. And I don't mind, like, drawing those 2 lands against Pox. That's fine. Hopefully I just don't eat, like, a Sudden Edict in this turn cycle. Alright, come on. Nice. Counter target spell or ability that targets you or a creature you control. Okay. Nice. Nice. I have some degree of protection currently between, like, this ability and this ability. You know, a targeted removal spell that just kills Unsettled Mariner is still disastrous for me because I'll only have a 12-turn clock. This is sacrifice for 2 -1 counters. Yep. They'll need a lot more mana than what they currently have to activate that, though. Okay. I mean, that occurs. Quite annoying. Yep. Oh, they did not realize that I'm a pirate deck? Okay, Ragavans are still alive because of that misplay. That's really, really good for me. Like, I cannot overstate how good that mistake is for me. I still think I'm going to lose this game as of right now. Like, all my opponent has to do is remove this, and then I have nothing. That also just basically means I have nothing. Over 2 turns, those Urza Saga tokens just beat out my whole board. Daze doesn't interact with that. If Near Deadlands is also 1 mana away from being live and killing this as well. Yep, okay. I mean, GG. I'm not gonna come back from that. I'll discard my land. Junk and Arid Mesa. Cool. That's 1 card too late. Yeah. So this is just gonna be construct. Oh. I don't really know if Lily is better than making a construct. That can wait. But I'll stop it. Okay. Do you remember when I mentioned earlier how bad this mistake was? This is that in practice. Get in there. A Thoughtseize. My opponent has no cards, so that Thoughtseize is not particularly strong. The issue now is that my opponent just gets Curse Scroll, and then my Ragavan's not good anymore. Guess I can pick up like a Prismatic Ending or something. Do I even have Lightning Bolts in this deck? Do I have Lightning Bolts as reach? I think I don't. Fuck. Yeah. I do not. Yep. Okay, that does not help my cause. I guess I leave this in hand to better play around a Liliana effect. This is going to be a slow bleed for me until I'm dead. My opponent can attack for 5 and like become the aggressor, or they can just hold up Curse Scroll and work on me from that angle. All right. Yep. I mean, I hold it in hand to like play around the Curse Scroll, and him to Turok accordingly gets it. Played around Lily and kept an extra card in hand and got punished by him. Say la vie. Yep. Now I get hit for 5. Note, this is an artifact, so that's why that got bigger. Just in case you're not sure what was going on there. All right, I will play a 1/1 critter. Well, do I even? I don't even know if I do that. It's like, it's just guaranteed dead to Curse Scroll. Yeah, I probably don't do that. Okay, I'm taking 2 here. I mean, my opponent just top decked a Planeswalker, I guess. The one he's 3 mana for something. Or do they just want to hold up Curse Scroll? Okay. An interesting way to get in 3 damage. But they just want to hold up Curse Scroll. I guess that's fine, right? Because like this represents the damage the same way. At this point, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just concede. Like they've clearly got this one. Okay. I mean, we have a Ragavan and a Curious Obsession in hand. This was a keep. I have double counterspell to protect Ragavan. This is about the best I could hope for. My opponent is mulliganing to 4, so we should be expecting to play against some serious bullshit of some kind, some sort of explosive combo deck in all likelihood. In which case, having double Force of Will is probably a win after a mulligan this deep. Okay, opponent kept on 4. Let's put this Ragavan into play, and hope we get a free one here. I think we need one. The only match that we won so far is against a Madness opponent who conceded both games extremely quickly when they weren't even close to dead. Okay, this is amazing. This means that I can play out the Curious Obsession while still having double Force of Will available. Let's get in there. Alright. So, always yes, and always yield to this one. Swords of Plowshares is probably not good, but like it's fine. Okay, now we know that my opponent is Dredge. That is important information for the next game. I think I want to accelerate my clock by playing this. Like I don't want to drag this on. Like I don't want my opponent to get to the point where they are able to get cards into the graveyard and start doing their thing because I will lose. Also, how's my not good? My graveyard hate is quite weak. All right, I mean let's build a super Ragavan. Get in there for 6, and between 2 card draws, I should be able to find another blue card to have double force available. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I need to cast any of this stuff right now. The treasure token's still good later. Like I could brainstorm and try to get a land drop, but I'd rather just have the blue card in hand. I'll just counter the thing they cast off the Lotus Petal. That's fine. Okay, so it's Oops, not Dredge. I am safe dazing that, I think. Which is nice, because I'm much better against Oops than I am against Dredge. By a lot. 1 point short of lethal here. Maybe I should have brainstormed to try to find yet another Curious Obsession. I don't know if that's actually true. It wouldn't have worked. Alright. Yeah, I think I'm good with just discarding here. I could have used a treasure to brainstorm for a wasteland. That might have been optimal given how much stuff I have in this hand. Okay, cool. We got one freebie. I want Surgical, I want Containment Priest, I want Canonist, and I probably want Meddling Mage. Probably don't want Jitte. Prismatic Ending can be okay against artifact mana that's played out, like Chrome Oxen and stuff. It's not fantastic, neither is Swords to Plowshares. I probably don't want to be playing Buccaneer's Bravado. Honestly, like, the slower things are probably things that I don't want. I end up boarding up quite a few creatures here. That's probably fine. I don't think I want the Pyroblasts. Let's try this. I expect to lose the game where I'm on the draw. Pyroblasts might be okay on the play where I have a little bit more mana to counter packs. I mean, we've got a Ragavan and a Force of Will. This is good. Ooh, Chancellor is rough for me. Okay. Yep. So there's a line here where I Force of Will the Thoughtseize, let my Force of Will get countered, let my opponent take a Ragavan, and then just play a Ragavan on 1. Kind of a crazy person line. I bet it's a line where I win the highest percentage of the time, though. Yeah, I bet I win the highest percentage of the time doing that. It's like hemorrhaging value, but I'm not sitting on a bunch of counter spells right now. So like if my Ragavan, holy shit, if my Ragavan can go and like connect, give me a little bit extra mana, maybe hit a Thoughtseize out of their deck or something, I'm good. Oh man, the fact that I get to actually put this Containment Priest into play is so good. And I shouldn't have played that land prior to this, but okay, we hit a Spy. I'll just pass the turn and do an end of turn Containment Priest. Yeah, we probably steal a win here. Alright. Wall Ritual is fine. Summoner's Pact is scary, but probably fine. Alright. So, do you have a pact is now the question. No, there's 4 packs in their graveyard. It should be good. Let's grab Tundra and play Containment Priest. Okay. We stole another one. Our opponent mulliganed into Oblivion, and then like they thought to seize me, and I top decked the hate card afterwards. The magic gods are kind. I have a Ragavan and a Daze in my opening hand. This one's a keep. Okay, we're playing against Burn. Oh, we're playing against Goblins. I have a Jitte, which is good news. But what's probably going to happen is that my first creature is going to die, then Goblin Lackey's going to get in, and I'm going to lose immediately. Assuming that doesn't happen, I think I have to play this Siren and try to trade it with Goblin Lackey. I don't want to like play Ragavan, have Ragavan eat it to the 2-mana removal Goblin, and then like Goblin Lackey also gets in. If I lose a creature, I want to lose this slightly more questionable creature instead. And I also don't want to trade Ragavan for Goblin Lackey in combat, if possible. Alright. Yeah, no way that's coming in. Okay. So now the question is, do I play this Curious Obsession and attack, and then trade Ragavan defensively now? If I have a cantripping threat in play. It might be fine, because I know that I have Jitte as my, like, I can win the game with this if I have it on a flyer come 4 mana. Sure. Right. Get in there with my 2/2. Alright. Let's do our yields to this. Okay. And now Ragavan becomes the blocker instead. Kind of a weird way that turn cycle played out, but it worked out pretty well for me that my opponent didn't have something to do on that turn. Alternatively, they could have a removal spell and they just played around Daze. In which case, things are a little more annoying for me. Okay. I mean, it does just look like this is going to be a 3-drop if they're fetching both now. Okay, so they just want to force the trade. I mean, which I accept. That was my plan. Now I'll basically Daze literally whatever this is. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. So I'll take my 2 damage, and then I'll figure out how this turn is going to go. Alright. Another Curious Obsession. I can Wasteland my opponent and try to keep them from playing big scary things since I don't have a counterspell right now. Or I can just play Jitte and be attacking with a creature that has Jitte equipped next turn. I feel like my opponent doesn't have a functional removal spell because, like, they have no goblins in play. They would need 2 goblins in play to kill this thing. This might just be jam Jitte time. Yeah, I think trying to end this game is better than trying to take the game long with goblins. Goblins is going to beat me in a long game. Land Trash Master, get fucked, nerd. Okay. It's not a Trash Master. That's the good news. Bad news is that opponent now has a Muxus, which will probably kill me if my opponent gets 2 more mana. Yep, I'll take that damage. Oh, okay. So we'll just keep them from getting to that amount of mana. That's fine. I think I am always going to Wasteland Cavern of Souls, but I don't have to make that decision until after combat. So, do this thing. Oh, Force of Will is great if I Wasteland Cavern. Alright. Destroy that. And I think this Jitte is actually going to represent damage rather than board control right now. I just want to clock my opponent over 2 turns. Again, like, they have the inevitability in hand. Force? Just force as a tempo play. Yeah, I'll force as a tempo play here. And I'm not going to kill this. I'm just going to take that damage and hit my opponent for 6 and Wasteland them. Oh, fucking beautiful. Alright. Hit. Pump twice. Puts my opponent to 5. I get to draw some more cards. Eye on the Prize, don't get Distracted by Unsettled Mariner. I just want to wasteland my opponent again. And I think that should do it. Yeah. Okay, got a little lucky there. Except my opponent didn't have a turn 2 play. Like, my first threat got the Curious Obsession on it connected, and then I got to successfully trade with Lackey. I think I just lose that game if my opponent gets a Lackey hit in and gets the Ringleader in earlier, and then by extension, maybe that mucks us in. I want Gut Shot. I want Fiery Cannonade. Probably want Containment Priest, right? Yeah. That stops a lot of the Lackey and Vile shenanigans. Then the next question is, like, do I want any of this stuff? My dazes on the draw are pretty rough. Hull Breacher's not particularly good. Let's start with getting rid of that. Buccaneer's Bravado is really mana intensive for a Wasteland Port matchup. Yeah, I think Buccaneer's Bravado is only good if I'm pretty far ahead already. I'm going to trim those. I'm not sure if I actually want to try to deal with Ether Vial. My deck was better. I think I'm supposed to deal with Ether Vial. My deck's not better. And so a lot of the time that I'm winning, it's just because, like, my first thing works, not because I'm playing reactive cards. If I play the Stony Silence, then I eliminate my one of Jitte as a great way to take over a game. I could board the Shattering Blows. Well, like that game, for example, like I didn't even have the mana to play my Unsettled Mariners that I was drawing. I don't know that I want to put more 2-drops into my deck. I already have a couple Prismatic Endings that can get them. Well, this hand is basically perfect. Like I have the Gut Shot for a turn 1 Lackey. Okay. Oh, not even a turn 1 Lackey. Great. So no turn 1 Lackey or turn 1 Vial. I'm sure exactly what that means in terms of, like, why my opponent kept their opening hand. But I will probably find out when they play, like, a Cavern and then, like, a bunch of my spells are invalidated or something. That is annoying for my Ragavan, so I guess I daze that. Okay, so we'll start the whole Curious Obsession thing going. Get in there, my monkey friend. What are we going to pick up? Buccaneer's Bravado. Okay, Red Elemental Blast not doing a lot here. Already made my land drop. That's a turn. Oh. So my opponent just kept the non-functional hand? Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. That's fine. So I could just Prismatic Ending that away right now, and then get in with Ragavan again. Probably fine. I could also use the Buccaneer's Bravado. I think I like Prismatic Ending. Let's go blue, white, and then like black. Get that out of the way. Alright. Opponent's down to 14. Oh, Jitte is dope. I took a Munitions Expert off the top of their deck, which is super important. I would love to draw a Wasteland to get this Cavern off the table so that my Force of Wills are more live. Okay. Okay, well, that resolves. Can't do anything about that. Yeah, they're just going for chump blockers. Yep. I'm going to Gut Shot this out of the way. Question then is, like, am I playing Jitte this turn? Am I just going to go for a Buccaneer's Bravado and get 8 damage in right now? How do I want to play it? I think I want to play the Buccaneer's Bravado. I would like to draw an additional card here and have another look at a Wasteland. Alright. 8 damage, plus a couple Ragavan treasures. Down to 6. Okay. This is a brainstorm scenario. Hitting a land drop is really good. Like, really good. Yeah, I think it is. Okay, so what am I doing with the rest of my mana? I can just play out a Jitte and then equip it next turn. That's probably fine. Again, unless my opponent has the Trash Master in hand. In which case this is not fine, but this plays well against the Mog War Marshal that I know that my opponent has in hand. Alright. There it is. Okay. It looks like my Force of Will is actually going to get to counter something here, which is dope. Oh no, they're just fetching. I don't think I get to equip this turn. I'm going to go for a Swords of Plowshares here. Swords of Plowshares here. Then get in for the 3. And this is the point where my opponent might cast a removal spell, and I get to Force a Will it. Nice. So now, get my opponent back down to 4 after giving them that 2 life. I get a treasure token. That treasure token allows me to play a flyer that can equip the Jitte next turn, even if I lose a creature in combat. And I am presenting theoretical lethal damage as well. Okay. Hog Fanatic can kill this. Ooh, I don't know if doing that immediately was the correct call. You could have done that in combat, like blocked and then killed this. I don't know what the rest of your turn looks like though. Okay. Well, that's fair. Okay. I mean, I have a Direfleet Daredevil that I can play. Like, I will just play a first strike creature with Jitte. And my opponent's basically out of gas, right? They're on 1 card. They could use a Ringleader or a Matron or something to try to pull into this. Why are you not wastelanding? So is your last card a removal spell? Otherwise, like, you're trying to get me to use this 2 mana here? About the only way that makes sense, right? Because otherwise you just, like, 100% wasteland this. They're trying to get a time walk out of this. So I think accordingly, I just, like, don't give them that. I'm going to play a pre-combat Direfleet Daredevil and attack in. Oh, okay. Interesting. I just give my opponent too much credit there. Not going to play Curious Obsession. Still going to continue to play around that effect. Okay. Ringleader is a body. They will need a second body or they're facing lethal. I don't believe we fucking 3-2'd with this. I do not believe it. Shout outs to my boy Ragavan for holding this deck together. Okay. Overall thoughts on this deck. We're a pirate deck, but I don't feel like there's any reason why we're a pirate deck, right? So the only thing that we have that is a pirate payoff is Buccaneer's Bravado. Like this is the build around card, and I don't think this card is good enough to build around. Just being blunt. Like a lot of times the tribal decks are tribal because you lean into things like Cavernous Souls that make your stuff uncounterable, or you lean into lords that buff all of your creatures. And this is a one-time buff that like gives +1/+1 and double strike. Like this is a very good limited combat trick, but I don't think a legacy power level build around card in the same way that say like a heritage druid style card would be for an elves deck, or the way that the various sliver lords or merfolk lords are for their respective archetypes. And so if playing pirates isn't good, you know, why aren't we just putting Curious Obsession on like a Delver or a Dragon Rage Channeler or something like that, you know? Why are we playing Unsettled Mariner, which is like very barely a playable legacy card and only in like maybe slivers and every once in a while humans? Like why are we playing a 2-mana threat when we want to go every game 1 mana hard, turn 2 Curious Obsession it? And like what's up with this 1 mana list like Singleton Hullbreacher? Like it's here because it's a pirate, but like it is not on theme with everything else that the deck is doing. So I don't think the pirate aspect of this deck is good enough to want to be playing it. Like the Ragavan was great, and like Curious Obsession plus Ragavan was pretty dumb, but like we don't need to be a pirate deck to do Curious Obsession. Like I know the art has a pirate hat on it, but like we don't need to lean that far. As far as the sideboard goes, like the sideboard just feels like a pile of cards. It doesn't feel like something that has a cohesive plan to it. Like for example, what do I board against control decks? Maybe 2 Pyroblasts. Like I have nothing here to help me grind. And the main deck is pretty body light, right? Like there's 14 bodies, of which only 7 are the 1-drops that you really want. And I don't think we got a spell back with Direfleet Daredevil the entire league either. So like we 3-2'd, we went 60%. But I feel like My deck put Ragavan in the top 7 cards, enough for me to get wins this league, if I'm being honest. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button. That's the easiest way to support me for free. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content 5 days a week. And if you want to mess with this deck on your own, or you want to get one of your own decks on the channel, that information is in the video description. Have a great rest of the day.